Yeet. No yeet. Yo, welcome everybody to Leave It at the Table. Oh my gosh, the top ticker looks pretty rough tonight. Yeah, it does look stretched. I'll have to fix that before the next episode, but can't do it now. So
it is what it is.
It doesn't look so bad if you turn your phone sideways, but if you have your phone vertical like a normal person, probably doesn't look great. Hi, Drew.
Like a normal person.
Oh, there's Shelby. Hi.
Yeah, that's why I said hi. I was doing my best impression of Shelby. It was bad.
Oof.
I apologize.
Yeah, you should apologize for that.
Yeah.
How's it going?
It's going all right. Had a good day at work. I'm here on time. That's an
hour early.
A lovely sight as usual. So anytime Drew Gorman time is on time, I'm here for it.
Yeah, I mean it was nice to get to sit here for like an hour before the show and not really talk to each other, but
hey, we did what people our age do. We unwinded from our long days.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, especially me. You know, I had such a long day of laying around, not doing anything today.
I asked you earlier. I said, "So, what you been up to these days?" And you looked at me, blank stare. This? You're looking at it.
This is all I do. I'm sitting right now, which is really, really rare. Which is, also the reason the episodes are going to be not short, but not an hour and a half long for the time being. Because by the time last week, great episode, Tyler Spalding joined us, talked a lot about Hurricane Helene. We talked about how the Euro model had been like so bad this year. And then they ended up calling this one from the very beginning, shooting up there in the Perry. And obviously a lot of devastation in other places, which we'll get into. But that episode leaked into like being over like almost 2 hours long. Yeah. And by the end of it, my knee was like, hey, bro, you got to go like lay back down to stretch me back out.
We got to do something.
Yeah. So, tonight, little shorter. Got to get packed up for tomorrow. Got going over to Pensacola for tomorrow night. Got some stuff to do over there this Friday. So got a busy night ahead. Plus, got to watch a little Agatha All Along. I don't know if anybody out there is into the Marvel Studios stuff, or if you're just into witch stuff, period. Pretty cool show so far.
I'm into witch stuff. It's more like witch, but
like sandwiches.
Oh, I'm a sub guy.
We were just talking today. Rachel and I were making dinner plans. We're trying to find cheap stuff, obviously, because unemployed and still on one leg. That part hasn't changed. We're trying to find like cheap dinner plans, and we're like, dude, I don't know if you've ever seen like chopped sandwiches, but basically, you take your meat, you take your toppings like your pickle, your lettuce, your tomato, whatever, your dressings, and you mix it all in one bowl. But before you mix it, you chop it all into like little pieces, and so you're basically putting like the chop like this massive sandwich full of just like chopped stuff, and it's easier to eat and just all mixes better together.
Well, something I do for lunches is, those like King's Hawaiian rolls?
Yeah. Yeah. Come on, look at me. You don't think I know what a King's Hawaiian roll is?
You get those big platter, and you cut them in half, and you just take the top half, put mayo, mustard, whatever your fancy is, spread it on that one. If you want more on the bottom, you can pick a different sauce, whatever you might like, throw it on there. Then put cheese, whatever type of meat you want. Normally it's cheese, a layer of meat, another layer of cheese, and then another layer of meat. Put it all back together, and then I cut it into like little squares, the pre-portioned squares that it is, and it makes 4 days worth of three sandwiches for 4 days worth. And they keep good in the fridge for about a week, which is about all I need. And I just wake up in the morning, they put them in Ziploc baggies, grab one baggie, throw it in my lunchbox, a couple bags of chips and a water, and I'm out the door. So it might be I know you've got a family of four, and one of them's a little more pickier than the other, but maybe two of the King's Hawaiian roll packages, cut them in half. I know being at home all day makes you a little more snacky because it definitely does that to me. But
It's been hard to fight the urges. Like, well, luckily, again, broke, so don't really have money to have a bunch of food around right now. So that's helped. I ate 2 cans of SpaghettiOs today, not in one sitting.
I was about to say like back to back.
But between 2 meals, like 2 cans of SpaghettiOs, and it was like, man, this is just so sad. I'm gonna be so fat when I come out of this, especially if I do have to get surgery.
What you need is to call that Campbell's chicken noodle soup dude. That no, it was SpaghettiOs. It was SpaghettiOs. That the old school commercial. No free ads, by the way. That the commercial where the kid was asking, "Hey, can I have this?" and the mom goes, "No, put it back." He puts it back, and the cup, the bowl of SpaghettiOs rolls and follows him all the way home.
That was me essentially, but like I was rolling back to the room with my bowl of SpaghettiOs.
That's impressive.
One crutch. Oh man. So Hurricane Helene. I started thinking this week. I started thinking today, really, because I was watching a bunch of TikToks on it, just looking at a lot of the devastation. And I want to make sure I say this because, like, I know a lot of people have a lot of opinions on what's going on right now. I just feel so. This isn't a pro Donald Trump thing. This isn't an anti Joe Biden, Kamala Harris thing because Trump was president when Hurricane Michael went through. I feel like every resource when a disaster like this happens in America, every single freaking resource that we have should be put to helping those people. I don't know if I'm right. I don't know if I'm wrong. I don't know if that's how the world works, but like FEMA's a joke. The American Red Cross is a hoax. People are still stuck. People are still lost. People are still stranded, and there's just like nothing happening. Nothing happening to get them out. Like there's people volunteering. People like you and me are over there volunteering, but there's not like a massive effort from anybody. And all these news networks are trying to get in. They won't let them in. I saw a video today basically that kind of sparked my interest, and I don't know. I just wanted to make sure I said that because I just feel like our country is such a freaking joke, man. Like we're all focused on important issues, okay? Like we're all focused on the economy and abortion and all this stuff, but like when it really comes down to it,
we're focused on what they want us to focus on.
Yeah. That's a great point.
And that's the scariest part of it all.
Yeah.
Because it's every now and then you hear the stories of what you were bringing up, and it's little things like that the news never reports on good news.
No.
They have segments where they talk about good news, but it's a 2-minute segment of a hour-long show. And it's honestly scary. I'm not very political. I reference Lil Dicky whenever I talk about politics. I'm better off telling y'all what LeBron. I don't know the first thing about what Obama been doing. I'm better off telling y'all what LeBron been doing. So that's my philosophy.
I mean, I'm pretty much right there with you.
But it's just scary to listen to, because obviously working at our age and working with
While you're doing, I'm gonna see if I can pull this video up while you're
with our age, we have a different perspective on the world than what elderly people do that we work with on a day-to-day basis. And I don't know how much it was at Angelina's, but obviously working at a construction crew and stuff like that, you work with people and they will tell you straight up their political beliefs. They will tell you exactly what they want, exactly what they believe in. And you're just kind of sitting there and you're just, okay. And then you take a step back and you think about everything that has happened, and you start to form your own opinion. And I don't know about for you, but for me, it's just very interesting whenever I look back at different things, and I take a step back and look at it from not one side or the other, and try to be as middle of the road as possible, and go from a day-to-day basis and look at different topics and different things and go, okay, this is what one side wants me to believe. This is what one side wants me to believe. As usual, the truth is somewhere in the middle, and
Right.
it's up to us to figure out whatever that is. So, you are having a fun old time over there.
Hey, you know
This is not. I'm sorry. I'm
what
trying
really
to.
sucks? Is this
Oh
man's
my
gonna
God, what is
fucking
that?
come home.
No, we don't want other people talking on our podcast show, whatever you want to call
Well,
this. But
that's what we're trying to find. But of course, when I need to find the video, I don't write down who shared it earlier. I just watched it, and I don't share it myself, of course, because that would make too much freaking sense. If you know the video I'm talking about, send it to me. I know we have some people watching, so send it to me if you don't mind, because I'm sure people know what video I'm talking about. Give me just a second.
fat riding on a scooter, running people over at Disney for us.
Damn right.
Okay, Shelby, why we coming for the people? Why we want to run over people at Disney? Like they see Kyle on a scooter. I don't know about Kyle on a scooter, but they see Kyle. They see Kyle. They gonna get out of the way, man.
All right,
You
I'm
asked
gonna
me.
look for like another 5 seconds here. I wish I could remember who shared it.
There was Ellie.
The tall guy from the Reds.
Yeah. So why are they still showing highlights? I mean, you got to do what you got to do to keep people interested. Go Reds.
We didn't get our extra 2 days of baseball.
Hey. Well, the Braves are about to get 3. They got day 162,
Yeah.
and they almost Metsed it. Well, I guess they did Mets it. And good luck to. Well, I have a question. I've seen.
Go ahead.
I've seen both sides of it, and I know we've got a Braves fan base. Unfortunately, I'm looking at Shelby, who I don't know if she follows baseball, and Josh Tucker, who is a Cardinals fan. But people,
Shelby's husband goes to a lot of Braves games.
yeah, people will reply later, and I want to get your opinion. What were the Braves thinking pitching Smith-Shawver game 1 at Padres? Like, I get it. You have so many people that pitched in the doubleheader. You have a couple guys that are down and out for the season because of injuries and stuff like that. But the guy who's made, 3 starts in the major leagues, that's your game 1 starter at San Diego?
Yeah.
At least.
I think it probably for the Braves had more to do with this is where we are.
Alleged Cardinals fan.
Cardinals are right where the Reds are right now. I think for the Cardinals it had more to do, or not for the Braves it had more to do with like this is what we have to do, not what we want to do.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. It sucks for them because I mean Chris Sale busted ass, gonna win the Cy Young, but the problem with Chris Sale is never like the regular season. The problem with Chris Sale is he's always got something going on with his body. He's always injured. He's always hurt somehow. And now Chris Sale all year dominates the league, and when you need it the most, where's he at?
Staying in Atlanta.
Yeah. So
And it was something interesting to me. Like, they were showing videos of him changing his mechanics to keep late life in his fastball and in his mechanics to more mimic Randy Johnson to keep him healthy.
right,
Because Randy Johnson pitched forever.
he did.
And it's conceivable that you could, if you're that height, anybody could duplicate it, right? Hunter Brown duplicated what Justin Verlander did, body move for body move, growing up in Michigan. And now look at him. He's an MLB player and started today's game. Granted, we lost. He gave up a solo shot in the 6th, if I'm not mistaken. But it can be done. So it's tragic what happened to the Brave season. Like, it's been a weird season for baseball in my mind because the Astros never looked like the dominant force that we're used to in previous years. The Braves never looked like the dominant force that we've been used to in previous years. The Yankees actually had their year.
Right.
They were good from start to finish. Now we're going to see what it looks like in the playoffs. The Padres made it. The Tigers made it. The Royals made it. Like, what is going on in baseball? It's fun to watch, but I know a lot of our viewers and myself included, it's a little bit more of like okay, and it's not our turn anymore. All right, we'll hand the baton. Maybe we'll reload and come back next year, but it's just a little different feeling having such an early exit after having 7 straight ALCSs for the Astros.
I think it's for me, if once the Braves get eliminated, hopefully tonight, I will be able to just kind of like enjoy this wide open. And I know a large part of our fan base is Braves fans. I know a lot of people here locally, like most of the people here locally are all Braves fans, but something about that fan base, Drew, something about them. I just don't like them. I don't like spoiled. I don't like whiny, and Braves fans are both of those things.
Yeah, it was fun while it lasted for Braves and Astros fans. I'm gonna go ahead and project they're gonna lose tonight, and it's gonna end up being. I hope I'm wrong, but I'm gonna project that they're gonna lose, and because the Padres, they just have dudes up and down that lineup. And with Acuna being hurt and not being able to bat left-handed, like that's a big shot in the arm that you're not getting.
Ozzy, you mean?
Ozzy, yeah.
Acuna hurt too, but
that's a shot in the arm that you need, and it's just he's just not the same against right-handed pitchers from the right-handed side. It's just there's a reason he's a switch hitter. So it's. I think this is one of those years where it just wasn't going to be Astros Braves, and I am proud to say I am an Astros fan, especially with how they played this year. I'm very proud of them because coming out of the gates, after 40, 50 games, we were in third place in our own division, and then
we were in here joking about it, like. I mean, pretty much at that point, you had kind of thrown your hands up like, it's okay. I mean, it's a bad year.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
I was like, hey, I like you said, I've been spoiled with seven years of greatness, 2 World Series, one's a little asterisk, but still 2 World Series with 7 straight ALCS appearances.
How therapeutic to get put out by AJ Hinch too, by the way.
It was what's the word I'm looking for?
Poetic justice.
I wouldn't say that because he didn't cut. He wasn't. It would have been different if he was fired for poor performance or stupid stuff like that. He was let go because of the scandal.
Right.
Which, I mean, if the Astros didn't let go of him, what does the MLB world think of us then?
Right.
If we kept him on. So it's a totally different story, but it's one thing if he would have got fired for poor performance. That's why earlier we were talking about AJ Hinch in through text. Was it yesterday or today? It was this morning, and we were talking, and you were like, "It's hard not to like Hinch," and I said, "Yeah, unless you're a Yankee fan." And I was like, honestly, like I still love the guy. He brought the first championship to us. I love how he coached. He did it the right. He did it the right way.
Well,
he turned an eye to a couple things, but
he won a championship and didn't get punished for it. I mean, he did personally, but the franchise did not. Right,
getting us back from back-to-back 100-loss seasons to where we were. Like we were projected. I remember reading the certain 4-letter word magazine and had
free ads
had pictures of Altuve, Correa, and Springer on the front and said your future 2018 World Series champions. And then this came out in like 2016. Turn around 2017, we're in the World Series. And it's like where everyone projected we were ahead of schedule. We were ahead of schedule, blah, blah, blah. We were going to have a downfall after a couple good years. Fast forward to now, you look back, it was sustained greatness. So starting the year off where we were to now, I am very proud of what we were able to accomplish. We won the West again by like 8+ games.
Which, I mean, obviously spoke volumes to what Houston was able to do, spoke volumes to how great the team played down the stretch, but also just like, look, Seattle fell apart, Texas fell apart. Texas, so much money into a couple of guys that did nothing for the team this year. Sad to see. From a baseball fan's perspective, neither one of the World Series teams from last year made it into the playoffs this year, which I can't remember the last time that happened. Maybe it's more recent than I think, but...
And I will say, me and you, we kind of saw this coming. Because back whenever we first started the podcast, whenever we first started the show, we started talking about what the Rangers didn't do to bolster their team. They won the World Series and then just said, okay, yeah, let's run it back. And lost a couple guys. Lost Jordan Montgomery. Lost a couple guys. And you even said, you were like, they did nothing.
Which is funny because the team across the aisle, Arizona, their owner blames signing Jordan Montgomery for what went wrong for them. Yeah. I think I sound like a broken record when I talk about that stuff like that, Drew. But you look at teams look at both of those teams, truthfully, and then you look at like the Cincinnati Bengals back in 2020 or 2019. No, it was 2021, right? I think when the Bengals went to the Super Bowl. It is possible to overachieve.
Yes,
and those teams did that. Those teams overachieved, and now like you can do great things by overachieving. You absolutely can. But you can't go into the next season expecting that to work again. Like the Braves caught lightning in a bottle, horseshoes up their ass in that 2021 season. Acuna went down. They had like barely any pitching. They get Jorge Soler and Jock Peterson and freaking Eddie Rosario, and they win the World Series, though.
Still haunts me.
They win the World Series. But they don't do anything to make that team better going into 2022.
Yeah,
like Eddie Rosario has never been anything more than a platoon guy at his best, and they give him the extension to be the everyday center fielder until Michael Harris ends up coming up eventually. But it's the Bengals. They catch lightning in a bottle. They get to the Super Bowl. They end up losing. They don't make themselves better.
No,
same thing with these teams, and it's really frustrating, man. It's
like you don't have to go out and sign your next best player. Like
you didn't have to sign Blake Snell.
Yeah,
right.
You don't have to go out and get the best player available. Just figure out if you lost the World Series last year. Okay, what hurt us? All right, well let's plug that hole. Let's bolster our bullpen. All right, let's add that. Don't just sit there and stand pat. Go, okay, our guys another year under their belt. They're going to be a little bit more experienced. Let's roll with it. That just doesn't work in today's sports.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I agree. It's sad when that happens. It happens way too often. And luckily for me, my teams have not been in a position for that to happen. Maybe one day, Drew. Hey, I'm looking at this right now, and
we'll get there.
I'm like, the Reds suck. Like, going into next year, they might be better, but now you got this situation with Bally. That's going to destroy small market teams because now they have to try to they got to buy their way into a network now, and they have to buy their way into contracts. So for teams like the Reds, and there were a couple other teams too. The Braves were the only team that got their contracts renewed by Bally Sports today.
Well, I've got a surefire way to figure out how you guys get everything you ever asked for.
Oh boy!
All right. It's going to be a little unconventional.
Here we go.
You're looking for a manager still, right?
Yeah.
Go hire Deion Sanders. He'll get you all the publicity you need.
What's funny is I mentioned that to my dad the other day. I'm like, dude, I wonder, because college football is going to end soon, and Travis Hunter and Shedeur Sanders are going to go to the NFL this year. If they don't, they're stupid. Yeah. I know they both have another year of eligibility, but they're both going to be Travis Hunter's going to be a top 5 pick.
Got to do it now.
Right.
Strike while the oven's hot.
At the worst, going to be a top 5 pick. He might be first overall, depending on who's there. And then Shedeur Sanders is going to be a first rounder. I don't know where in the first round. I'm not sure I would take him. personally.
But it's always helped with a QB.
Right. So
And he's pretty damn accurate.
no, he's very no. It's nothing to do with his talent. Nothing to do with his talent. His antics are more the problem with Shedeur for me. But you know, I was like, look, man, Deion played for the Reds. He knows a lot. He knows almost more about baseball than he knows about football. I'm like, I'm joking, obviously, but man, that'd be kind of fun. That'd be kind of fun.
Gets you publicity,
dude.
Gets butts in seats.
Coach Prime coaching Ellie.
He might.
That's gonna be like the most exciting 75-win team of all time, is what I'm saying.
Oh, gotta be.
That's all I'm saying. We're still gonna go 75-87, but it's gonna be damn fun.
MLB will figure out a way to get Deion into the postseason. Don't you worry, because they need a little juvenation into the postseason. Because for non-baseball fans, I feel bad because these are some really good games that have been going on.
Yeah, I mean, I feel bad for us, to be honest with you. Not.
What's the score check?
I'm about to look for you. I think the last time I looked, the Mets were up 3-1, and that is still the case. Bottom three.
But yeah, there are some really. There's just something about October baseball that turns up the heat, turns up everybody's go meter, and it just makes for great baseball. And no one like today, no one expected the Royals to be anywhere near good. No one expected the Tigers to be anywhere near good. So it's very exciting to see young teams make the jump, and teams that the parity of baseball that has not been there in previous years is very exciting. And as a baseball fan, I love it. As an Astros fan, I hate it.
Yeah, it's the most wide open it's probably ever been, to be honest with you.
Not even lying.
Hey, my mom's in the comments. Well, she's not in the comments, but she is watching. So
how's she feeling?
If you're out there, Mom, tell us how you're feeling.
Yeah.
Also, share the stream. Support your kids here. Shout out to Mom. She went to she had her gallbladder, I think, removed this week. A couple days ago, Monday. So shout out to her.
So
yesterday.
So I started asking you this question beforehand, and you said, "Do you want to save it for the podcast?" And I decided to. So, you get your hands on a time machine.
So much.
You go back to September 10th, 2001.
Holy shit. I'm warning them about COVID.
You go out.
There's free pizza on the 90th floor.
Do you warn them about Diddy? I saw that the other day, and I wanted to send it to you, but I had hit send, and I hit the little arrow to send it, and I almost hit your name, and I was like, no, I'm doing that on the show.
I love that. Golly. September 10th, 2001. Have you seen the memes that's like you go back in time and you stop the planes from hitting the towers and you're like a hero, but then the towers still go down?
Yeah, it's like the butterfly effect.
Yeah.
Like, what do you change one thing that you think is gonna fix something, and then you go back to your normal time, and everything's totally different, but something else happened.
Right.
It's like it's the odd it's the saying that I sometimes like and sometimes don't like. It's if it's gonna.
It's one of my favorite philosophies. Is like the whole time travel thing. Like even if you so much as step on a roach, it could set off like just a course of life changing events.
Yeah, it's definitely an interesting thought process. What are you gonna change if you go back and change one thing, and it could be change everything about your normal daily life.
If you guys have any topics you want us to talk about, leave them in the comments. I know there's some people watching right now. Everyone's probably getting ready for that Braves game, but we're here. We're talking. If you got anything you want us to talk about,
yeah, we're just hanging out.
I see Jordan Gibbs in there. If you want me to vent about the Miami Dolphins, let me know.
Every time I see Gibbs, I think of
iCarly, Gibby.
no, no, Redskins.
Late work call from Tyler Spalding. He says, "What up, fellers? What up, dude?
What it do?
Why you both so ugly, Shelby?
That's how God made me, dog.
We look just alike. I'm just telling you. What F that joke? What joke? The Miami Dolphins, dude.
No,
okay.
I think it was talking about Diddy.
Oh, the Diddy.
I think the Diddy joke.
He didn't like the Diddy joke. Okay.
I don't think so.
Well,
Man, that backfired.
yeah. All right, let's talk about the Dolphins here for a second. This team's fucking busted, bro.
Wait, before you
Yeah,
do
go
this, do I need to get a box over there so you can stand on your soapbox?
Actually, you know what y'all do need? Give me my Padres hat. Come on, Carl. To the right. Up, white. Yeah, give me my Padres hat.
Your father's hat?
It's signing day.
It's signing day.
Yeet. The Diddy joke was funny, he said.
Okay, cool.
Okay, we're good.
Good.
Let's talk about FSU. Okay, we'll get there too. I got a whole podcast for that, by the way. Know It All podcast. I know you listened, but I ended this past episode with taps. So,
but we don't use the words that you use on that podcast on this podcast.
we try not to. Sometimes I slip. I have
like Diddy.
There's three.
Hey, I started the Diddy roll, and now I'm slippery slide, and it's a slippery slope anywhere that man goes.
I'm gonna send you a meme so I can pull it up on the computer. But
Kendall just said, "Is this guy gonna talk about his leg again?"
who said that?
Tyler said. Kendall just said.
Oh my gosh. No, I haven't said anything about my leg tonight. I don't think.
You briefly talked about it earlier. You said we're not gonna go as long as what last week went.
Oh yeah, no. Well, that's a fact. I want to pull up this meme that I just sent you so that our viewers can enjoy it. My favorite Diddy joke right now. My favorite Diddy joke right now.
Oh my god.
Yeah. That's my favorite.
That's perfect.
That's my absolute favorite right now.
Dog, how bad is Johnson & Johnson that he's locked up?
I'm pissed because I bought stock in Johnson & Johnson. I was like, damn. Right around the last couple of years, my stock has gone so high, and then I should have sold at the spike.
Yes, sir, Tyler. We are in the business of embarrassing other people,
Including ourselves. No, the Dolphins, man. The Dolphins are just a freaking mess right now. Lube Gehrig.
I can't get over that.
I don't even know what to say about Miami, man. Jordan Gibbs. I'm going to read his text message to me earlier because it really says it best. He says, "Bro, I just saw a stat." We're talking about Chris Greer here, who is the general manager of the Miami Dolphins. He's a bum, by the way. We can't stand him. Stephen Ross, great owner, getting ready to sell, I think, most of his shares of the team. But I like Stephen Ross personally. I think he's a great owner. But he's talking about Chris Greer, him and I today. We're talking about the Dolphins just need to start over at this point. They got – what are you doing at this point, man? He said, "Bro, I just saw a stat. Nearly 50% of the draft picks that Greer has made since 2020 are not even on the team. 36% of them are backups. The guy's a bum." And then he's throwing money to old Jalen Ramsey, who's been decent but old, corpse OBJ, and McDaniel, who's had his issues with Tua, and he's awful. He's had issues with Tua, and he's awful without Tua. And then throwing money to Tua, who's one concussion away from being a carrot. Like, does that not? But like, all jokes aside, that's exactly an embodiment of the Miami Dolphins, and that's where they're at right now, man. It's so bad. And Tyler Huntley, when Tyler Huntley's the best option you have, because you signed him from a practice squad, that this is the fault of the ownership. Well, not the ownership. This is the fault of the manager, general manager, dude. You can't. I don't know. Oh, I forgot to. Ezra's birthday party is Sunday.
Are we going to do this now?
Yeah. Forgot to mention it.
I got to talk with the wifey.
You're good. You're
Gotta
good.
talk with the boss.
I forgot.
Yeah, it's on my. I keep getting notifications on Facebook. Let Kyle know.
I did invite you.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm invited. I just haven't let you know.
Yeah, you're Gucci.
Yeah.
We actually will be cleaning that day. All right, let's talk about these Padres. I got the Padres hat on for you, Tyler.
Well,
Do you have any questions specifically about the Miami Dolphins?
I like what they've done, but I'm viewing it from the outside looking in. I'm not paying attention to year in, year out who you are drafting 1 through 7, first round through 7th round. So I don't know how those guys are progressing through the coaching ranks. Is that an indictment more on the GM, or is that more of an indictment on the coaching staff because they're not coaching the guys up? Because as much as we see all these rookies come in and be great, a la CJ Stroud and guys like that come in and they're great their first year, there still is a significant jump from playing college ball to playing NFL ball. So you've got to have the right coaches in place to coach up those guys to be ready to go. And so I don't know if that's more of an indictment on, yes, on the front end, you have to choose the right guys to put into each system, but you also have to have the right coaches in place. So I don't know if it's totally on the GM, but I get your frustration. I understand where you're coming from. And I don't know if McDaniels, are you talking about moving off of McDaniel, like blowing up the whole thing?
I think you're at a certain point, you're at a crossroads, and Jordan's asking me why I like Ross. I like Ross because he's willing to spend money. Everything else from there, I get it. I understand why people don't like him. He's just not afraid to spend, and that's why I do like Ross. But yeah, dude. I mean, it's an indictment on everything. It's a general manager, coaching staff. The coaching staff's terrible, man. I mean, you look at McDaniel. You look at him 2 years ago when the Dolphins had to play the Bills with obviously Tua unavailable. Skylar Thompson has to be the quarterback in the playoff game. Horrible. Everything's terrible. Last year down the stretch, they have a chance to clinch the number 1 seed against the Baltimore Ravens. They get blown out in Miami. They have a chance to win at least get the 2 seed and win the AFC East at home against Buffalo. They get blown out. Then they have to go to Kansas City. It's like negative 35 degrees. They get blown out. They don't even put up a fight. And it's like they do the same stuff every single year, and they do nothing to get better. And I like Tua. I like Tua. Yeah. It's nothing to do from a talent perspective. Do I think he's an elite quarterback? Absolutely freaking not. Absolutely not. But this offense was tailor-made for Tua, and Tua does well in this offense. But Tua is not a guy that you should throw $50 million at ever. Especially, what do we say? The best ability is?
Availability.
Bingo. And Tua, here we are right now. At least 4 games without him because he's on the IR. And I don't know how you don't have a better backup plan than Skylar Thompson going into the season.
Jameis Winston was up for grabs.
Jameis Winston's out there. Ryan Tannehill's still out there. I'm not saying those guys are elite by any means, but you tell me right now. I'm going to name Skylar Thompson or Jameis Winston.
Winston.
Skylar Thompson or Ryan Tannehill.
Tannehill.
Okay. These are the things that Miami has to do better, and I don't get why they don't. Skylar Thompson or Mike White.
Mike White.
Again, it's when you have a guy like Tua, you have to have a backup quarterback that can get the job done.
Yeah. And
Skylar Thompson or Joe Flacco. Skylar Thompson or Gardner Minshew. Okay. Case in point.
Easy. And when you've got a guy who comes in, Tyler Huntley, from a practice squad and already beats out Skylar Thompson.
Terrible.
That tells you all you need to know.
Skylar Thompson did get hurt for that, but Tyler Huntley's going to start again Sunday. It's already been announced.
So, all the previous Tua concussions, you could conceivably say wasn't his fault. Conceivably.
Yes. From a certain, there's some of them,
get the ball out.
He learned how, get rid of the ball, stuff like that. But that's all hearsay, right?
This most recent one, slide.
Knuckleheaded.
Why are you lowering your shoulder with your body better than anybody else? In this spot, what are you doing? Why are you lowering your shoulder? I get it. It's in the nature of the game. That's what you want to do. But at the end of the day, you've got to know your limitations. That team goes as far as you go. And if you are at home, that team ain't going nowhere.
Bro, when you literally 2 years ago got hit so hard that you were playing air guitar on the Bengals field.
Man's throwing up gangs. He did it again.
And he did it again, right. You don't ever duck your head into the now.
That's the scary.
It is DeMar Hamlin's chest, so you don't expect that to be super strong.
Hello.
But, yeah, Tyler Spalding, 0 for 2 on rooting for teams with a head coach named Mike and an injured Samoan quarterback. That's what got me there. That's what broke me for a second.
Wow.
Yeah.
Flip-flop Norvell and McDaniel.
God, McDaniel.
McDaniel at Florida State. Okay, now we're getting way off the tracks.
It's terrible. This train is derailed.
I don't think it was ever at the station.
I don't think so either. All right, Drew, let's talk about, like, last thing here before we get into our picks, as the Mets and Braves are underway. Braves already with a 1-0 lead. Marcelo Zuna hit a sac fly to score. Michael Harris.
Bottom one, because the Padres haven't had a chance.
Yeah. And then the Mets and Brewers still 3-1. Mets do have a runner on second with 1 out. Who's pitching for the Braves tonight, by the way? Max Fried. There you go.
I feel bad. I apologize to all the Braves fans. I've talked a lot of mess at the Braves tonight, so I apologize to 90% of our viewers.
I do agree with him as well. So this team was going to be bad before Tua went down. And it's not like Tua was great in the first game. He says, to be honest, this team was damn from the jump. Tyreek getting put in cuffs before game 1, then one lucky fumble away from 0-4. They were down 17-7 at one point to the Jags, and the Jags are horrible. The Jags are dog shit.
Other than Brian Thomas.
Well, again, that's the guy, like, I wish he would grab the brass ring and just become the number one guy.
That dude.
Right. Especially since I
picked him in fantasy.
Yeah. Well, in fantasy, and I went out on a limb, and I was like, I would take him over Malik Neighbors. Had more to do with Neighbors' attitude than it did his skill level, but case in point.
Neighbors is looking like he's a perennial All-Pro.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And making Daniel Jones look a lot better.
Yeah. I mean, Daniel Jones has finally figured out he's down there somewhere.
Also, dude, the Giants' offensive line, like, you watch it and you start to be like, okay, well, maybe Daniel Jones isn't that bad.
Well, what was it, 2 years ago, his contract year, when he actually looked good and they had a decent offensive line, and then the last 2 years because they've paid him, right, they can't pay their offensive line. Like it's the catch-22 of NFL football with the salary cap. You want to have all of these guys that are really good, but at what point, where do you take money back from, and what do you pay? The Saints are in that hole right now because we're finally good on salary cap, but we're losing. Offensive linemen are dropping like flies, bro, for us, and hence why we've lost back-to-back games in two un-Saints-like games where we can't run the ball. We were running the ball like nobody's business in the first 2 games, right, and that's what set up Derek Carr to look like he was the second coming of freaking Drew Brees. And now we have our backup center in, our third-string guard, and our backup tackle. And both of our tackles to start with are rookies or second-year guys. So it's like that's the only tangent I'll go on.
I get it.
It's very hard to win ball games with bad offensive lines.
Imagine paying $30 million for a wide receiver that's currently tied with Jared Goff with one touchdown apiece. Could be worse. The whole Tyreek Hill thing, I made a post on Facebook last night that got a lot of heat because I was like, Monday night, I was like, I really hate the way Tyreek Hill plays football. And when you're not, like, obviously, when you're not a fan of that team, you watch it and you're like, this guy's incredible. But he whines on the sideline. He does nothing but screw around on social media. Gets in trouble with the law, obviously, because we've already been through this. Not trying to get into that whole conversation of like cop, like all cops are bad or whatever, but the cop was a jerk. Tyreek didn't do himself any favors. Like both sides of that were as in the wrong as they could have been. And but gets in trouble, can't stop running his mouth. He's whining on the sideline. And you know what I hate, Drew? I hate when somebody catches the ball 7 yards upfield and then runs 4 or 5 yards backwards to try to like get around the defenders, because your forward progress is gone now. So now instead of having 2nd and 3, the team's got 2nd and 8. And if you're a Miami Dolphins fan, 2nd and 8 might as well be 3rd and 20.
4th down.
Yeah, you might as well just go ahead and punt. So it's frustrating, man. I like Tyreek, but
Seems to be fine. We're okay.
Oh, there you go.
Seems to be fine.
You want to make some picks?
Let's roll.
All right. I'm going to pull them up on my phone so I can keep track, because I've already made all of mine. So, and then we'll get out of here and go watch some playoff baseball, because we're missing a couple of great games. Probably be like this for the next couple of weeks, by the way. So,
we've got people that are tuned into us.
Yeah.
And I'm here for it.
I would say we're probably winning the ratings war.
Yes. In this household.
In this house, yes. All right, Drew. Let's start with, if you guys want to make picks in the comments, there's a spot available here. Danny G, Dan Gonzalez, I reached out to him to be our guest picker for this week. So I have his picks here. Oh, yeah. Let's do that sometime soon. I would love that. We have a couple of episodes planned here soon, so let's get him in.
The problem is they built this team from the ground up outside and put the lines together with Scotch tape, glass players on the defensive line, and trash offensive linemen. I'm pissed again.
Yeah, I mean, I truthfully would love for the Dolphins to do something in my lifetime. It's funny because the longest 2 playoff droughts in sports, Cincinnati Reds, Miami Dolphins.
I'm sorry, Jordan.
Yeah, sorry.
Well, I tried to make. Never mind. We're here to take your mind off of things, and we just talked all about the Dolphins.
We have to help each other cope. Him and I are like arch enemies in college football, but college football is so unimportant.
Just let it out. Let it out, Jordan.
All right.
Whatever it is, let it out. We're here for you.
Syracuse at number 25, UNLV. Dan rolled with Syracuse. I'm rolling with UNLV at the house.
UNLV, they looked really good. Losing. There it is, Jordan. Let it out, big fella. After losing their quarterback for whatever NIL deals were promised or weren't promised, and then the backup comes in and arguably plays better. Like, sign me up for UNLV football, baby.
It's almost like the team is bonding behind that.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes. There is something to be said about a team that gels with a certain person rather than another guy. And that's normally what ends up having the quarterback start that the fans don't want.
All right. You pick first on this one. UCLA at number 7, Penn State, giving Penn State minus 28. So picking against the spread here.
I'm going to take Penn State with the spread. I'm going to take the points. Take them all. As I said before the show, UCLA looked disinterested last weekend, and they're going cross country. You brought up that UCLA came cross country and played us very well for 3 quarters. But at the end of the day, they just looked very defeated last week from the jump. Oregon still didn't cover, but I don't believe they've got another cross-country trip and good ball play in their future.
I had originally picked UCLA, but I think I am going to switch my pick to Penn State to cover. I'm just starting to think more about, like, obviously you're deflated, and now you've gone from you went to Baton Rouge, then you came home, then you flew out to Eugene, Oregon, and then you got to fly out to Happy Valley. That's a lot of travel for a deflated team. So I'm going to pick Penn State to cover the 28.
And Penn State, on Penn State's side, they looked really good against Illinois. Like, I did not expect them to look anywhere halfway decent against Penn State. So, against Illinois last week. Like, I picked Illinois because Illinois had looked good. And they came out and made it look easy on that first drive. I even texted you. I said Illinois made that look way too easy. And then Penn State turned around and drove down the field, and I was like, uh-oh. This is going to be one of those games. And then Penn State's defense decided to play defense, and they didn't score.
Right.
It was just like, okay, Penn State, it might be for real.
And Illinois did cover last week, but because we all picked Illinois to cover the spread, and they did. But Penn State did look good for the first time, I thought.
Yeah.
All right. Number 9, Mizzou at 25, Texas A&M. I took Texas A&M, and so did Dan.
I'm also going to roll with the Aggies. Missouri, they don't do it for me right now. Playing a close game against Vandy, granted, Vandy is better, but you're playing Vandy at home. That is a game you should dominate. And they're not doing it for me. And the game's at A&M.
Which is always a tough place to go play.
Yeah.
Tyler, keep us updated on the Padres and Braves, by the way, while we get through these. SMU at number 22, Louisville.
Shout out AG. I'm going to roll with the Cards of Louisville at the house. I'm going to be honest, I'm not really up to date on SMU right now, but
Oh, I am. Oh, you are. I am.
Well, they played FSU. I still don't see it because Missouri School of the Blind could have beat Florida State. So, give me Louisville.
Helen Keller could have scored. I'm also taking Louisville, and so is Danny. All right. Number 12, Ole Miss at South Carolina. No spread here. Picking straight up. Ole Miss looked terrible last week. Now, Kentucky played Georgia really close and then went right into Ole Miss and beat them. Ole Miss needs this win. They play LSU next week, right? That's going to be a big game. We'll probably end up picking that one just because it's such a big game. You can't not put that in there. It's luckily for me, Florida State's not going to play any of those this year. So, we'll probably pick FSU Miami against the spread. I'm sure Miami will be like a 25-point favorite or something like that. But I'm taking Ole Miss on the road here, and so is Dan.
Good Lord. This will be the first time Ole Miss has gone to South Carolina since 2009. And at that point in time, that game that happened, South Carolina and Steve Spurrier, it was number 3, if I'm not mistaken, Ole Miss.
That would have been Marshawn Lattimore?
I think so. That came to town. And South Carolina upset Ole Miss that weekend. That will not happen this weekend.
2009 Ole Miss. I'm trying to think. Is that like Dexter McCluster, or is that a little bit after McCluster?
Honestly, that sounds right.
2009 would have probably been Hugh Freeze. Was Hugh Freeze there?
2009 Ole Miss.
So who you taking while you look that up?
Ole Miss.
Okay. Danny and I are both taking Ole Miss as well. And then I'll roll to Duke at Georgia Tech while you're looking it up. I will.
McCluster was a senior that year.
Okay, yeah. Dexter McCluster. I can't believe I remembered that.
Yeah.
That was like all they had, essentially.
Yeah.
But it was enough.
There's not many other names that are jumping. Greg Hardy. Not any other name. Bradley Sowell.
Wow, the freaking Braves got out of it. It was bases loaded, nobody out, and the Braves got out of it.
Ooh-wee.
Holy cow.
Enrique Davis.
Hey, Enrique.
Yeah.
Hey, that's cool.
I recognize that, Dave.
Yeah.
I interviewed that man. Well, no, I held the camera while you interviewed him.
Fantastic. We need to get him in here.
That's good, dude. Good peoples.
I would like to get him in here during
Good
the off
people.
season.
Yes.
Coach is at Ole Miss, so his off season will start a little earlier.
Yeah.
All right.
Don't let him hear that portion.
Duke at Georgia Tech.
Georgia Tech.
Taking Tech, huh?
Yeah.
You don't have to try to come up with a reason. I understand.
Well, Duke had a nice come from behind win last weekend, but that was a rival game against North Carolina, and North Carolina, I don't know what's going on there.
Good. Yeah.
So I don't know how much faith I have in Duke. I'm going to go Georgia Tech.
I'm going to take Duke, and so is Dan. All right, UCF at Florida. I'm taking Florida. Dan's taking UCF.
I'm going to take UCF. Last week was a case of maybe Colorado's better than what we thought. Maybe.
Yeah.
And I just, since Mr. Albritton's not in our chat, I don't ever see anything from Florida.
All right. Rutgers at Nebraska. Undefeated Rutgers, by the way. Undefeated Rutgers at Nebraska.
Raiola's got Nebraska. The fans, they've always been good fans. Like I knew a couple Nebraska fans back in Tennessee, and whenever it came around time for football, they were always in Nebraska stuff, and they were always talking about them, even though they were dog crap. So now they have something actual to cheer for. That place is going to be a raucous crowd, and it's going to end up being a pretty good game because, as you said, Rutgers undefeated. I'm going to still take Nebraska though, because it's crazy what that crowd's going to look like.
I'll probably end up watching this game, to be honest with you. I don't know what time it is. I think it's an afternoon game, 2:30. So
I feel like you're going to be parked on that couch and watching games all weekend.
To be honest, that's been the bright side of having this injury. Is like I've been able to
perfect time.
Yeah, like I'm like, okay, well, I've actually been able to watch football. I was able to go to church last Sunday, and it didn't take up my whole Sunday. You know what I mean? So shout out to Brian Bassett, by the way. Him and Rachel and the kids went to church.
Invite me to church.
You want to go? I know you don't want to go.
No, I was referencing what you had texted me.
My post. I wanted to go to a church.
No. What you had texted me after? Who is this?
What?
On the post? Who is this?
Oh.
Who are you?
Who are you? Who the hell are you?
I don't even know.
How the hell did she see it? I was like, okay, well, I looked at the mutual friends and I'm like, okay, well, maybe Drew shared it.
I did.
And you didn't. I'm like, well, how? I don't know why you would have shared it.
Yeah, I was like, what are you talking about? She commented on your post. I was like, what? And I went and looked, and I was like, bro, I am dead.
I don't know if maybe she followed me because you and your brother like came on the show together. I don't know. I have nothing. I have nothing. Like, I'm not friends with her. The only mutual friends I have are you, your mom, and your dad. And
I was dead. I was sitting there. We're at ironically Cafe 38.
Oh, good. Right there next to my dreams, the beginning of my downfall.
Yeah, I was sitting there and we're waiting in line to waiting to get our names called. I look over and I was like, what is he talking about? I started looking into it. I died laughing. Had to show Michaela. She died laughing. And I was just like, what is happening?
I was so lost, bro. Braves go 1-2-3 in top two. Bold prediction: if Rutgers wins this game, they'll be in Indy come Big Ten championship. Now their schedule's favorable, very favorable. Top two teams, maybe best to not get there. Oregon and Ohio State play next week, I think.
So it'll be a walk-in for whoever's on the other side of the Big Ten.
Essentially.
That's the downfall of having I get it. You want your best two teams, the best winning percentage, because it'll play out that way. But this is just an odd year for Rutgers to not have to play some of those big name teams. It's very interesting.
You should pull up their schedule real quick. I know you got the picks pulled up, and this one's gonna be easy, so this will give you a second anyway. Auburn. Oh, by the way, Nebraska. Dan and I both picked Nebraska as well. Auburn at number 5, Georgia, laying 24 points here for Georgia. I think the one thing you never want to do is run into a pissed off Kirby Smart. So I think Georgia covers the 24, and so does Dan.
I have Georgia as well.
Okay.
Auburn, that downfall. Peyton Thorne threw another interception late in the ball game.
Yeah.
Hugh Freeze at Auburn was supposed to be the savior.
It's bad.
See how that's paying off.
It's really bad.
Rutgers schedule, they've already played. They beat Howard, beat Akron, beat Virginia Tech. At Virginia Tech, by the way.
Well, yeah, interesting, man.
Beat Washington. Then they play Nebraska, at Nebraska, home for Wisconsin, home for UCLA, at USC, home for Minnesota, at Maryland, home for Illinois, and at Michigan State.
That's pretty. I mean, if they can go into LA and beat USC,
Yeah.
if they can come out of that schedule with 1, maybe 2 losses,
That's
yeah, dude, maybe.
hey, you want to go to Rutgers, Maryland? We can get tickets as low as $5.
Next year, there's a kid on Mosley that's committed to Rutgers, so
Gang, gang.
could probably get us in next year. All right, and last college football game of the week, number 8 Miami at Cal.
That's a long way to go to catch an L.
You think so?
Give me Miami.
Oh God! Oh. Holy cow! Holy cow! Haha. Nah, we got Dan and I have Miami as well. They're only being given 9.5 points, by the way.
To me, it's more about how things have transpired for Miami in previous weeks. There might be a little ACC bias.
Oh yeah, might be.
So we're gonna go. We're gonna go with Miami.
Smart for the ACC, by the way. Smart.
Oh, yeah.
No disrespect, because you like Florida State's terrible.
As soon as Florida State started looking, as soon as they lost, they were like, "Okay, Miami's our dark horse. We got to go."
Yeah. Well, you got to. I mean, because your top 3 moneymakers are Clemson, probably Clemson, Florida State, Miami. I think in that order, as far as like revenue, like getting views and ratings and stuff like that. And then after that, bro, it's like a steep drop to maybe Louisville. Notre Dame doesn't count, but
And don't sleep on Cam Ward. Going back that side of the country, gonna be fun.
some Miami fans that listen to my FSU pod, so I call him overrated to piss them off, but he's good. He's the only reason they won. He's the only reason that Virginia Tech was. It's great because he's the only reason Virginia Tech was in the game, but he's the only reason they won.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And that's usually a good recipe for your quarterback.
I don't know. When you start playing these, the good thing for them is they have a terrible schedule. So there's not like a part of the schedule where, like if you look at Florida State's schedule, the easy part's gone.
Yeah.
1-4 through the easy part. Now you get Clemson at the house. You got at Notre Dame in a couple weeks. Got at Duke, at Miami.
Yeah.
Still got Florida.
Because y'all are playing that ACC championship schedule.
Yeah.
Oh, they're going to be good again. We got to load them up with good teams.
Good God. All right.
Unlike, thank God that we've gotten out of the SEC East and West, because Georgia, we won't rehash that anymore. But let's moving on to the Thursday night football game.
Yeah, well, so we both picked Miami as well, by the way, Dan and I. Thursday night football, going to the NFL now. 5 picks from here. The Bucks at the Falcons on Thursday night football.
Can I choose them both to lose?
You could pick a tie.
Because I, for my Saints wise, I need them both to just be god awful.
Laying the points with Cal. Cal plus 9.5.
Good luck with that. Tampa Bay, they're gonna go into the old school Georgia Dome and take it out.
Well, if they're going to the old school Georgia Dome, they're going to have a hell of a time playing a football game because that thing's not there anymore.
Well, the other stadium's on top of it.
Yeah.
Or is it across the street?
It's across the street.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it had to be done before they tore it down. They didn't not play football for 3 years.
Why not?
I don't know.
I mean, you've
For
seen,
Falcons haters, they probably would like that.
You've seen the city of it. You've seen the Falcons in previous years. They haven't played for 3 years.
Listen, man, I like what the Bucks are doing. I like Baker Mayfield. I really like that team. So I'm going to pick the Bucks on the road as well. And so is Dan. All right, going to the noon game, which, by the way,
Wait, y'all picked Falcons? Sorry, I was reading something.
Bucks, Tampa.
Okay.
Yeah. Ravens at the Bengals.
The Bengals finally looked like what the Bengals were supposed to look like at the beginning of the year. Granted, they played the Panthers. But the Ravens really showed me something on Monday Night Football against Buffalo. I was singing Buffalo's praises all week long, and then come into that game and the Ravens just took it to them
Badly.
there was a little sliver of hope right there in like the end of the second, early third, where the Bills looked like they were catching on steam and figuring things out, and then then Derrick Henry ripped off another long run, and it was okay. Now we're done.
I don't know if the
Higgy ties it up with a 2-route bomb.
I didn't know that the Braves scored 2 runs in the top of the first. So if you tie it, so they obviously had to have, Higgy. Who's Higgy? Hold on.
Their catcher.
Okay. Yeah.
Kyle
Yeah.
Higgy Hishikawa or something like that.
Yeah, Higgy. We're just going to go Higgy.
Yeah. If I'm not mistaken.
Go Higgy.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Tyler.
LFGSD.
I'm not going to read that.
Let's
What were you going to say about the Ravens?
No, I think the Bengals win. Are you picking the Ravens?
Yeah, I picked the Ravens.
Okay. I don't know if their pass rush, the Ravens, is that good, and or the Bengals are, or the Bills' offensive line is that bad. But Josh Allen was on the run that whole game. So, Higoshiosha. Did I say that right? Higoshiosha?
I think we were both right.
Yeah. Well, there you go.
Higgy.
Kyle Higgy.
Kyle Higgy.
I'm going to take the Bengals to get this win on the road, man, or get this win at home. The Bengals need this win more right now. Ravens look really good. They look very good, but the Bengals have to win this game. I actually, the more I sit here and think about this, I've already switched one of my picks, so I'm not going to switch again. But I just thought about how bad the Bengals defense has looked already, and now Trey Hendrickson's probably out this weekend. I don't know. And if their offensive line, oh, man, this could be the last game of Joe Burrow's season right here. All right. Raiders at the Broncos. I'm going to pick the Broncos. Broncos are getting a little heated up here. If you want a team that maybe you should think about the Devontae Adams trade.
Yeah. But I don't know if that's going in division. That's why I think the Chiefs are off the table.
That's fair too.
But the Broncos go into MetLife and take out the Jets.
After going into Tampa and taking out the Bucs, by the way.
Yeah. And with Bo Nix as your quarterback,
Pretty sure that's what it was.
who called that at the beginning of the year? Because it wasn't me. But Broncos back at the house. I'm going to take the Broncos. It's just there's something going on over there, and dare I say it's Sean Payton.
Oh, let's ride Broncos country. Maybe it has more to do with that. All right. Cowboys at the Steelers. This is Sunday Night Football. This should be a hell of a game, to be honest. Maybe not. I mean,
no Dexter Lawrence. No
maybe
Lawrence.
No Dexter Lawrence, though, yeah.
No, there is no Dexter Lawrence.
Yeah. Maybe no Micah Parsons.
No Micah Parsons. They just lost one of their offensive linemen, I believe. And no Brandon Cooks. I don't know if it's going to be that good of a game. So with that being said, Steelers. And the Steelers have looked oddly really good with Fields at the helm.
Yeah, it's like he's not winning them the games, but he's not losing the games.
And it's crazy what good coaching does.
Yeah. Yeah.
It sounds stupid to say, but when you have a coach, because I said it a while back about Sam Darnold going to the Vikings. He finally has a coach that actually knows how to coach the quarterback side of things and not just coach a team. And look what he's doing. Same thing.
Yeah.
You go to Mike Tomlin. Mike Tomlin's going to put anybody in the right position. And there's a reason that man has never had a losing season.
Yeah. I like Mike Tomlin.
Yeah.
I wish he was in fucking Miami.
Jay Fields.
Dan also picking the Steelers. I'm going to pick the Cowboys on the road. I don't know what it is. They tend to win the games that they shouldn't during the regular season. So, makes this tracks. Cowboys go on the road. Sunday Night Football, they play pretty well traditionally on Sunday Night Football. So, I'll take the Cowboys. Last game, I'm not going to make you pick this game because I already wrote it down. Monday Night Football, Saints at the Chiefs. I'm going to make Dan is picking the Chiefs. I'm picking the Saints. I already wrote Saints down for you because this is the reason we don't like picking our teams, but 2 weeks in a row, we're both in prime time. So instead of making your pick, tell me a key for the Saints to win.
Offensive line. Because if we're able to run the ball, and which I'm excited to see what this offense looks like, because middle of the game last week against the Falcons, we had 2 offensive linemen go down in the middle of the game. and there's only so much you can do to kind of patchwork at that point in time. It is what it is. You just throw them into the fire and say good luck. With a week to prepare, they're getting starters reps. They're figuring things out. They're getting that extra help. Because you've got to know, guys like Cam Jordan and Chase Young, they're coming full speed at those guys, and they're giving them, like, just like anybody else, they're giving them, hey, I'm going to do this. This is what has stopped me. They're giving pointers back and forth, which is good. So I like that we're young across the offensive line. We just need to figure out who those 5 are going to be. And if we're able to get back to a spot where we can run the ball consistently, whether it be Kamara or Jamal Williams, get Taysom Hill finally healthy, because he played very well the Dallas game, missed the Philly game altogether, and as you saw, our team looked totally different, came back and played against Atlanta, scored our first 2 touchdowns, and played great. And then all of a sudden went out with an abdomen injury. Just like, how inconspicuous of a hockey injury can you get? Oh, it's abdomen. Okay. So hopefully he can come back healthy and he plays and he can stay healthy, because he is that bowling ball of a Swiss Army knife that we need to get him in to keep defenses on their toes. And if we're able to run the ball, what does that do? It keeps us on the field and keeps Pat Mahomes on the sideline. And that's the only way you're ever going to beat Patrick Mahomes.
Fair enough. Go Saints. Who dat?
Who dat, baby?
Rooting for you. Rooting for you guys and the Falcons. I know that's like asinine because
Lego
same
tuck.
division. But, yeah. 3-1 San Diego, and it's still 3-1 Mets. So,
And he drives in 2.
So it wasn't 2 run bomb, he said earlier. It's 2 out bombs. So. Pick me up. Hockey next week. F the Dolphins from Jordan Gibbs.
I'm proud of you.
Could agree more, man.
F the Dolphins.
Go Bolts. Go Bolts. Hockey season's here. That's all I got, Drew.
Go Preds.
That's all I got.
Preds.
I just want to be happy for sports.
I just want to be happy.
I just want to be daddy.
Oh.
Okay.
You want to be in jail? Okay.
Oh, well. Free meals, baby.
Free meals, shelter,
Yeah.
and you get a workout regimen, dog.
I need all 3 of those right now.
And a roommate.
And a partner. Okay.
They were roommates.
Yeah.
Oh,
all right,
man.
guys. We're going to get out of here next week. Don't know what the hell we're doing. Maybe the same kind of episode. I like these.
Hey, it's fun. It allows you to, I know you talk through Facebook on a daily basis now, but it allows you to get out some frustrations to not the air and not your fingers. So,
Yeah.
And to me, I work all day alone, so I talk to no one.
Yeah. Well, he said, Kyle, we're fine. We still got the heat. Oh, terrible, terrible, terrible. They're going to suck too. Sorry.
Hey, believe in Bam Adebayo.
I believe.
Believe.
In Bam Adebayo.
Believe in that man.
He better. All I know is I saw that man shooting threes in the Olympics. He better not be the typical like bum Adebayo, is what I've started calling him. My God. 5-1 Padres, Jackson Merrill. Let's go.
You still have Mosley, right?
Mosley is undefeated.
They play Niceville, right?
Niceville next week. I will be back in the booth for that game. Both teams are undefeated. That is going to decide the district championship. So
And I heard Dave Hayes on that 4-letter word radio station earlier today. No free ads. It's according to Max Preps, it's a number 1 versus number 2 matchup.
yeah, in the state.
That's
In the state.
in the state.
In the state, bro.
Oh,
It's like because Niceville's number 1, I think, and Mosley will be number 2.
oh,
And like
my
in the
God.
class,
Yeah.
at least.
Yeah.
So this game is huge, bro.
Wow.
Massive. So next obviously next Wednesday, we'll try to figure out getting a Mosley guest in here or something to talk a little bit
like
about
that.
that game, because maybe we'll get David Hayes in here next week.
And leave Albritton over there
Yeah.
because he's all Niceville.
He's a Niceville boy. But yeah, dude, that game's gonna be crazy next Friday night. So get a ticket. I'm telling you, man, like, well, I can help you out, but get a ticket. guys, because that game's going to be crazy. Talk more about that next Wednesday. For now, Drew, sign us off.
Thank you for hanging out with us. Thank you for having fun with us and just bearing with us while we were just kind of no purposing, as we like to put it here.
Shout out to the No Purpose podcast. That was a fun one. I wish that one
was fun.
Lasted longer.
I had almost texted you, say, hey, see if you can get Gurley on the Zoom for tonight, because we got
cool.
no purpose and just hang out. But he's probably paying eyes glued to the TV for the Braves right now. But
fair enough.
Go Braves, go Padres. Screw the Mets. We'll see you next week.
Later, fellas.